Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the live stream or the video on demand, depending on when you're watching this. Probably as a video on demand if you're watching this later after the stream was live. My name is SGN, and in this live stream, I'm going to be talking about what I think the best teams for Facey are going to be when she comes on the 26th. It's the 22nd now. This is making of this. So we have 4 days to go before Facey comes. Just to let everybody know, there is going to be a 3-hour, probably like 4 to 5 hour downtime maintenance for the game while they update the game, add some new stuff. They usually say 3 hours, but it usually turns out being like 4 to 5 hours, and I think they're probably going to do that around the early morning hours. So by the time you get home from work, you get home from school, or the case may be, the game is going to be ready for you to update, but usually around like 1, 2, 3 a.m. is when the downtime is going to be, and they're going to update the banners. Now, speaking really quickly about the banners, if you are kind of new to the whole process, what they're going to do with the banners for Dragonhorn, Mimi, and the Azure Dragon. I'm not sure about the Arc Tether banner, but I do know for certainty that the Azure banner will stick around for another week after the Facey banner launches, so you'll have a week overlap to still be able to get Mimi, and then they're going to have the new banner with Facey, and then they're actually going to include a Fire banner, just like with the Arc Tether banner. You're going to be able to get Annabelle, Lan, and Leowa in that banner as well. So if you missed Leowa the first time around, or you missed Lan the first time around, you'll have a chance to get those characters in this banner as well, because they are all fire characters. And if I'm looking at this correctly, it looks as if that whenever there's like a new theme or a new element type of character, they're going to rerun the other newer characters that go along with that element, so you're going to get those other fire characters. And during the course of this live stream, I'm just going to give my thoughts and opinions on what those best teams are. Now, I'm not going to be pulling these things out of my butt, although I do have a clear idea of what characters I think are going to work really, really good with Facey. But I'm going to look at some facts, I'm going to look at some videos. Like in a little bit, we're going to look at the videos that have been released on TowerofFantasy's YouTube channels for Facey. There's 2 of them. There is a character trailer, and then there is like another little simulacra character thing. It's a little bit shorter, so we're gonna watch those. I'll react to those, and then I'm gonna actually read the character sheets in their entirety, and then look and see what those character sheets say, and then see what characters that those stats and those abilities and powers will sort of match up with. Then, of course, as this is a live stream, I will be looking at the chat, and I'll be taking some opinions and thoughts from the chat. Now, if you are watching this as a video on demand later on YouTube, I thank you for that, and I appreciate your thumbs up. But if you want to add to anything, leave your comments, because I do, despite popular belief, I read all of my comments. I'm usually sitting in my bed watching Star Trek, and I'll just have my phone out when something's boring happens, and I'll read, and if I see something I like, I'll comment, or I'll heart, I'll pin, that sort of thing. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to leave a comment on this video on demand. All right, so the first thing that I want to do in this live stream is react to the trailers, right? The new videos. All right, so let's go ahead and look. I've already got one of them pulled up, and this is going to be the coolest one out of them all, I think. I got to put on my headset that allows me to actually listen to the trailer. Okay, and let's go to my webcam screen here. All right, so this is actually from the TowerofFantasy PlayStation YouTube channel. You can find it here. It's just TowerofFantasy PlayStation. They actually came to my YouTube stream the first day that this game was live on PlayStation. I was streaming it. They came and they said their hellos and thank yous. So I'm just going to do the right thing and hit the thumbs up button, let them know that I was here, and allow me to close my door because there are some elephants running around my house. Alright, so let's take a look at this now. So as not to be like copyrighted or whatever, I don't know if they actually copyright their TowerofFantasy YouTubers or streamers, but I'm going to be pausing every so often and doing some commentary on the things that I see, and trying to make it as transformative as possible. So I'm going to turn the volume up to about 35, so you're definitely going to be able to hear it. Alright, and I think we are good to go, so I'm just going to go ahead and play it here and see what they say. I've already seen this trailer before, and it's very, very good. Alright, so we see this character. I don't know who this character is. Like, this character, it looks like the whole reason behind this trailer, and it looks like a really cool character. It looks like at some point in time it may be like a playable character or one of these simulacra that we're going to get to use that doesn't necessarily have any powers. It's just simulacra, and I think that is a huge idea from them, because when you have these games where you get to create your own character, or you can use you know, cast characters, whatever like that, very rarely do you see them just make simulacra that look different from the other characters, or different from your created characters, with styles that you just can't do. And I just think that is a really good marketing strategy, because I would pay money for, and let me know down in the comments and in the live chat, would you actually pay money for simulacra that just look different? If they gave you like a pack of 25 simulacra that just have very unique styles, both male and female, or maybe a male pack, female pack, what would you do? Would you actually spend money for such a pack? I think I would. I would spend maybe I would throw $5.99 for a male simulacra pack, or a female simulacra pack that just looks good. You know, I would do that. I think that would be a great idea. All right, so let's keep going. Actually, you know, as of watching this, I'll talk and watch. So clearly, they are in Domain 9. You can see the bamboo, you can see the panda. Now this looks like land. That looks a lot like land. So it looks like we're looking at two different like storylines, because the character, this character, that's not land. I'm not exactly sure who this character is. This is like, it looks like it may be some apprentice character to both Lan and Facey at some point in time. Super good animation right here, I think. Like, I saw this, I was blown away. This guy looks super cool. I mean, clearly he's like some regular enemy type. So, all right, so here we are. We're back in Domain 9.
Give me that.
Okay, just pushes her down. Very strong, this guy. I like that, those little hats. I don't know what they're called, the little Japanese hats. I guess these are like Chinese hats. Okay, so he's looking for this green emerald item that she had. I'm not exactly sure the importance of this item. Okay, so we're back on another flashback. I want to point this out. So you can definitely tell that this is another flashback of a different character, which is Lan, who is in the game. And Lan looks a little bit younger in this little flashback, and she's being viciously mauled by what appears to be a polar bear.
I told you. You should have given that to me earlier, so you don't have to suffer. What an idiot.
I like the design on those boots there.
Let the adults keep it for you.
Okay, so he picks up this emerald donut looking thing. You can definitely tell this is like an NPC, the way that he's created in this little movie. Oh, and looks like it's burning his hand now, and he is catching on fire. Now, let me just go ahead and stop and note here. Let me give a shout out and kudos to the animation team, the people who put this scene together, because when I first saw that fire, it was amazing. Let's go back and look at that again. I don't think you guys saw how cool this fire scene was. Look at this. This looks so cool. Look at this. The whole, like, area just sets ablaze. Like, didn't that fire look really cool? Now, when I was watching that, what went through my mind as soon as I saw it was Tower of Fantasy needs to do a collaboration with Avatar: The Last Airbender, or Avatar, you know, Legends of Korra, at least. At the very least, Legends of Korra, but I would love to see a collaboration with Avatar: The Last Airbender, because that scene right there with the fire and the fire around them and the hands, like, I think that would be so huge for Tower of Fantasy. I left a poll on my YouTube channel like a week ago, and then I made a YouTube video about the top 5 things or top 6 things that quality of life changes that Tower of Fantasy needs to make to, like, sort of bring itself back up, because the fact is the game is hemorrhaging players every day, and there's not enough to keep players here, and they're like, you know, I think they should make some changes. I'm not going to get into all of that, but I think that one of the biggest changes that they can make to the game for quality of life would be a huge collaboration at this point. And I think that if they could gain Avatar: The Last Airbender at some point in way, like, this would be so cool. Like, could you imagine going to, not necessarily Ba Sing Se or the Fire Nation, but what if, you know what I mean? Like, what if a part of Domain 9 turned into Ba Sing Se? You know, what if a part of it turned into like a Fire Nation like outpost or something like that, and you got to see people running around in Fire Nation? Maybe not necessarily have Zuko or Azula in the game or whatever like that, but be able to like change your character and put those different styles on. I think that would be super cool. Like, I would love to model my character to look like Aang when he was pretending to be Fire Nation, when he had the headband on, the black hair. I think that would be super cool. They can give you that as a simulacra. That would be super sick. You know, anyways, let's just continue on. Look at that fire. Doesn't that look so cool? So I'm guessing this is going to be one of Facey's abilities, maybe, to create a ring of fire. Look at her. This is her. This is her. This is so cool. It's like she's doing kata. Oh, and it's going cinematic. Oh, that's so dope. I can definitely see this being like her skill. Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, chat and live stream. How cool would it be if Facey not necessarily had her abilities that were carbon copy, like copies of what Lan does, but maybe her abilities, I mean, I know her abilities are already out there, and we're going to go take a look at her abilities as well at some point in time during this live stream, but, you know, wouldn't it be cool if, like, how in, we'll say, Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles, how you get Tanjiro, and Tanjiro moves, his moves are sort of derived from Giyu and the old man. I can't think of that old man's, you know, nose. But when you do them on them, like, their water wheel is slightly different. His water wheel is, you know, slightly different. His, you know, 11th form, whatever, dragon is slightly different, but it's the same. Wouldn't it be cool if the same thing was true of Lan and Facey? Because clearly they are either like a master or apprentice, or they come from the same, like, school of training because they're dressed similarly. They both use fire, and it would be cool if they sort of had the same moves, but, like, Facey's moves are just a little bit different. Like, watching this kind of makes me think, like, she's doing, like, a kata, and she's saying things like, you know, rabbit under the shadows, and that's, like, a move. And what if Facey, she had the same thing, or what if Lan, she had the same thing, rabbit under the move, but hers looks slightly different. I don't know. That's just a thought that sort of came to my mind when I'm watching this trailer. Let's continue. This chick looks super terrified. How is that guy under the ground, I wonder? And look, she is doing... Brother. And I hate to keep referencing, oh my gosh, Demon Slayer. But doesn't it look like she's doing like a Hinokami Kagura dance, right? Look at her. She looks pretty dope right there, I think, you know? For me, as a person who... You know, I really don't, like, you know, go in with the whole, like, be the lolly mommy or whatever on my video games when I be a person. When I'm in a video game and I'm having a character that represents me, I usually normally like to be a character that actually represents who I would be in the game world, and I wouldn't be a girl in the game world. But looking at this character, bro, it looks pretty sick, dude. Look at that. That is dope. Bro. This is in-game assets right here. We're looking at in-game assets. And let me say, how cool is it that they were able to use, like, a video and then transition the video into, like, in-game gameplay? That is sick. And those guys that she's fighting must be tough. And listen, let me ask you this. I'm gonna pause it one more time and talk about this. Let me ask you this, and you can tell me in the live chat, you can tell me in the comments. Do you like it more or less when you do their ultimate or discharge skill and there is a unique animation? I think that it looks really, really freaking cool because I'm a visual person when I play video games. I like to see really cool things. I like to see really cool colors. Now, I get it. After a while, it may get tedious after you've seen it 10,000 times. But in the beginning, isn't it kind of cool to see that animation of your characters doing their ultimate attack or discharge skill? I think that's a good practice. I think they need to keep doing that. I would actually just, I don't know how I would do it more. I mean, the animations, they can't be too long. They can only be like a couple seconds, but I think they need to keep doing this. What do you think down in the comments in the live chat? Do you think they should keep doing that, or do you think they should just cut that all together? Or do you, like, automatically just cut the animations? Because I know they have, like, an option in the settings to where you can cut the animation scene and you just do your thing. I know the DPS, like, fanatics, the DPS fiends, they probably have that animation cut off because you get faster DPS by not waiting for whatever for the DPS. At least I think so. I don't know. Let's keep going. Oh my god. Doesn't she look threatening? Not really. This chick is so terrified.
You are safe now.
Oh my goodness.
How do you know my name?
Do you remember being that tired as a kid? And look, here's Lan. Lan looks so cool there. Oh my. I have to pause the video every so often so it is transformative in some way so I can minimize my, ability to get copyright claimed by the company. So, I mean... This is actually a nice still frame, alright? Let's take a moment and appreciate the artistry that goes in with creating this scene, right? This is an animated scene, and they've somehow, this is the part that really sticks out to me. They've managed to what's the word I want to do? Mimic the way like a IRL video would be. Like the camera, you've got this picture is in clear focus, and then in the background they've got her sort of faded out. So I'm just thinking about the video editor who took the time to make this. They're like, all right, so I want them to be in clear focus. Let's take the background, sort of blur that out. If I'm making videos, I'm not really, my brain doesn't automatically go there. You know what I mean? If I'm making if I was to be like a video creator to make this sort of like cinematic, I wouldn't think to do that. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe if I went to a school and got some practice and I learned some tips and tricks, whatever like that, that's sort of a knowledge that would probably have to be learned. But just coming out thinking of it, I would have her in, I wouldn't blur her out like that. But I think, I'm not saying it's bad to blur her out. I think it's amazing to blur her out, to really mimic the IRL or real life aspect, And, you can clearly see her eyes, the way they have her pupils. They're looking down at this character that's asleep, And it's like, this has to be a little girl, right? Because very rarely, unless, I don't know, I don't think we do that as adults, do we? Unless we're passed out by some gas. Like, I can't be asleep and have somebody move me because I'm going to wake up. I mean, I don't know. This is clearly a little girl. And I wonder what their association is, because Facey and Lan, they clearly know who this girl is, whatever item this girl, this might be like, I don't know if this actually has any bearing on the actual story of the game, but this girl, she had some item, these bad people, the bad guys, they wanted this item, and this organization, they want the item too, maybe? Or maybe they are interested in the girl because they see something in her that they could use to their own benefits, like they're the Jedi. As from what I understand, Facey and Lan are a part of some sort of organization where they're like special agents or something like that. So I don't know. Let's keep going. We freeze framed on this long enough. Let's continue.
She's still alive. Made it all the way here with injuries. What a stubborn girl. Are you going to take her with you?
I gotta comment on it, right? I gotta comment on the artistry of this scene. And again, so many things blew me away when I saw this trailer, and this is one of those scenes that did that. The moon and the moonlight reflecting off of Lan on this scene, and why the hell Lan is carrying a parasol at midnight, I have no idea. But doesn't that look cool? With the moonlight just glinting off of her, I like that. That is a very nice touch, man. When I saw the trailer, I was just like, wow, this is so well put together. Oh, let's continue. She ignored her.
She reminds me of you. Let's go. Long time no see. Come and taste the new snack in the palace.
Sure thing, sis.
Whoa. I don't know about you, but when I first saw that or heard that, it sort of blew my mind. I always like it in these video games when they reveal that playable characters are related to each other. I'm thinking back specifically of Chong Young in Genshin Impact with the ice chick that was in the mountains. I forget her name, and that was pretty much the reason why I got the character, because I felt like if they're related, they actually must go together in some form of fashion. So I got those two characters so I could put them together on the same team, which ended up not being very good at all. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't like world breaking. So that right there in and of itself is the first clue that is indicative of them being a good, like, duo for a team, I guess, you know, in the three-man team. So if you're looking to do, you know, fire DPS with the fire resonance, you get Lan. She's a tank. She's the defense character. She's going to have your defensive capability. She's also fire. Then you have Facey. She's a pure DPS character. People are saying that she's going to replace Leowa. I'm of the opinion that other people have, because I've heard both sides, people are like, she's going to replace Leowa, the paintbrush, or the, paintbrush, I guess, what it's called, a Pine Comet. And people were saying, some people were like, well, no, she's not going to replace Pine Comet. She's going to work with Pine Comet. And I see both sides of the argument. So down in the comments, which group are you with? Are you with the Facey is going to replace Leowa, or Facey is going to work with Leowa to enhance your damage? And if I'm being premature here, based off of Sis, I'm thinking, based off of that Domain 9, an early no-brainer team, no-brainer DPS team is going to be Lan, Leowa, and Facey. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I might be completely wrong. I've been calling her Facey all this time. It might be Facey, or it might be Face. I'm not sure. I'm just going to say Facey. But I think that's going to be an early team. What do you think? Like, that's the first team that sort of came to my mind when I heard that sis. Because, you know, why make them sisters? She didn't have to say that. They didn't have to make her say that. That just lets you know, hey, these two characters, if you didn't get it by the way that they are similarly dressed, they're supposed to work together. Continue on for the rest of this. That's cool, the way she's bound. She has attitude. You can definitely... Ooh, that is so cool. Okay, girl, I see you. That's dope. I like that. Oh, wow, look at this. Look at this. Look at all the characters we have represented here. TowerofFantasy available now. PS5, PS4. Hoda Studio, a perfect world company you have right here. You've got your Lan. You've got your... who is that? Who's that girl? Give me a second. I gotta cheat. Who's that girl? I gotta cheat. I got her. I forgot what her name is, though. Lynn. You know what? And here's the thing about Lynn. When I first started playing this game on the PlayStation 5 after taking my about 6-month-long hiatus from the PC version, because I sort of stopped playing, I got back. I didn't know who Lynn was, and the only thing I could hear on PS5 from a lot of people coming through my live streams was, you got to get Fiona, you got to get Lynn. They're the two best characters. You got to get Lynn. She's altered. She uses a fan. She's an off-screen buff. She buffs your damage. You got to get Lynn. I got Lynn. You don't hear too much about Lynn anymore. So I guess in the live chat right now, in the comments, say something good about Lynn. Can you? Can you say something good about Lynn? If you have Lynn, do you still use her on your teams? I sort of have found that I have not used her since I got her, and I almost feel like it was a waste. So you've got Lynn represented here. You've got Fiona represented there. Of course, you've got Shirley right there. Nemesis. Leah was right there. And you've got Yulon. Yulon standing with her best friend Mimi, I guess. I guess they're cool. They're like close. And then you've got, you know, let's take a look at this picture, man. What do they got going on here? Why are not Leowa and Lan together? Shirley's up there by herself because, you know, she's like a Borg and nobody likes her, I guess. You've got Fiona and Lynn. They have some, you know, whatever together because, you know, that's their transitional period between Vera and Inners. We saw them have communications, and I guess at some point in time, the Ice and Lightning girls, they bonded, I guess. And then you just have Lan. She's just sitting there by herself. off to the side. No one's really talking to her. And then you have Leowa. She's just, you know, doing her own thing too. But it looks like she wants to be at the head of the class. I think she's actually walking in front of Fiona and Lynn, which tells me that she has something to do here. And this Lan chick, I don't know why she's off in the back like that. And then you got Mimi and you got Yulon. I don't know why they're standing off to the side like that, you know. I mean, they're all walking towards Shirley. Does this speak to something greater, or is it just, you know, just an animation? I don't know. Perfect World Games. All right, so, chat. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that trailer? I'm gonna read the comment section right now. Just let me know your thoughts on that trailer. I'll go first. My thoughts on that trailer was, I'm just left with a question. Is what we saw concerning the girl, the item, dude's hand catching on fire because of the item, or was it because of Facey, his hand caught on fire? Does that have any bearing on the story? Are we going to explore the story in Domain 9? Are we going to meet this character that Facey was cradling and taking back to the palace? And what palace are they talking about? I mean, I know there are palaces all over Domain 9. So I'm left with that question. You know, are we going to learn more about the relationship of Lan and Facey when the story continues? Because I assume that when they finish their update, right now, if you're up to date on the story, it says, you know, top right hand corner, you can say it says to be continued. So I'm thinking that maybe perhaps we're going to learn more about what the relationship is between Facey and Lan and this mystery character. Will this mystery character sort of grow within the game from chapter to chapter until she becomes a playable character with her own abilities? Will she be a fire character if she's going to be a playable character? I mean, why else introduce this character? They could have made this trailer, this cinematic in any way possible. Any other way. They didn't have to introduce some new character while they were introducing our new playable character. So that leads me to believe that this character probably is going to have some importance to share screen time with Facey, the character that we're at the video to watch. So looking at the comments, Andrew Holmes, he says, Lynn is a good team player, but I don't have almost any of these characters. I'm new, LOL. Can we get another anniversary perhaps? Maybe, sometime soon. Yeah, they might do that. Quoted Lime says, I thought the story was done since you beat the boss in Joltville, but I don't know. I don't think the story is done. I think there's more to say. Mike Cavazos, I think that little girl in the stone is an untapped power for her, or it could be a spellbound plague stone and they need to destroy it. Possibly. Those bad guys wanted it for some reason. Flagler America says, good trailer overall. We won't know her true team setups and potential until the Simulacrum trailer. And I definitely can't agree with that at some point. I do believe that we can speculate. And I think we can speculate because of the base mechanics of the game as far as fire resonance. That combined with weapon relevance now, because there are only a few fire weapons in the game at present. And we'll just take a look at those fire weapons in the game, and we can just sort of see. I'm going to go to my warehouse right now. And let's just see. Okay, take a look at Leowa. She's still very relevant. She has really good fire DPS. Lan, fire tank. This is the current fire defense character, and this is still super relevant. Let's see. Scythe of the Crow. Is it really relevant? I'm just not that sure. I see people in the chat. Joel Cooper. He's saying her team setups are Leowa, Zeke, Facey, Leowa, Lan, Facey, right, of course. And you know, Joel Cooper, you're not like alone in thinking this. All these teams that you're talking about, I came to the very same conclusions. But I did want to go in this live stream and read what the character did, so we can sort of justify these things, because rather than just saying, I mean, because obviously the new characters are more relevant than the old characters. You're more prone to use Pine Comet rather than Negating Cube. Although Negating Cube is a support weapon, So I think all support weapons are still relevant. Maybe not super relevant, but they're still relevant. I think you might be able to get away if you had a 6-star negating cube. You might be able to get away with using it. Is it the best? Probably not. Will it help? Of course it will. Scythe of the Crow, though? Will that be more useful than a Pine Comet? What do you think? Chat, what do you think? Pine Comet or Scythe of the Crow? I'm just going to go ahead and say no. I'm going to say Pine Comet over Scythe of the Crow. So one can easily surmise that, yeah, when it comes to the other fire DPS weapon, I'm not going to use Scythe of the Crow. I'm going to use Pine Comet. But there are more fire DPS weapons. And, of course, you know, Zeke isn't exactly a fire weapon. He's a Grievous weapon, but he has the ability to activate fire resonance. So, I mean, yeah, Zeke would probably be another relevant choice there. Like, as I was saying, talking about what teams I would use for Facey, and these are probably going to be the main 3 weapons. But let's look at more of these other fire weapons that they have in the game, you know, some of these other ones. Annabelle is going to be one of the weapons on the fire banner. The 3rd weapon. The other 2 are going to be Lan and Leowa. I just don't know that Annabelle, the Clover Cross, I don't know if it's going to be that super relevant. They did add it to the banner. I've never read Annabelle, so let's just go ahead and take a look and see what it says. Let's see. So her 1-star, hitting a target 2 times with cross snipe creates an optical space for 12 seconds at the target location. After an enemy in the optical space triggers burn tally. Burn tally will be triggered an additional 2 times. When an enemy leaves the optical space, their speed is reduced by 80% for 2.5 seconds. Cooldown 12 seconds. Targets of cross snipe will be terrified. Speed is slowed. The A1 doesn't seem too particularly great to me. The A3, after cross snipe lands a critical hit, recover HP equal to 50% of the damage dealt, not exceeding 50% of own max HP. Gax explosion damage, not included, and 50 weapon charge. Each stack of Tranquil Heart increases the final crit rate to 9%, up to 27%, converting up to 13.5% of crit damage. The A3 sounds a little bit better on her. I'm just not sure if it's going to be super relevant or super useful to the Facey team. The 5-star, well, there are only like 10% of us that play the game that are able to get that 5-star, so we don't have to go into that. And then the other fire character, Flaming Revolver. Listen, I can tell you, I personally still want the Flame Revolver weapon. I want Cobalt B, but the game just doesn't want to give me the weapon. I don't know what else. The game refuses to give it to me, so I can't really speculate on that. And then we have another fire weapon. Yeah, I forgot all about this. Ruby Spark. That's another fire character. I would suggest that I would use Spark over Scythe of the Crows, over King. Because at least she has some sort of utility. She can lock mobs down in place, and she has a giant freaking fire cannon. So, I mean, if I had to choose between Ruby and Crow, I would probably go Ruby. Although, you know, Crow is, you know, he's got some stuff at 5 and 6 stars. Increased damage against HP shields or shielded enemies by 100%. I still think that is a super important trait. I think that may be his only redeeming quality in the Domain 9 era of the game. His 6-star increased damage dealt by 10% for each enemy slain for 30 seconds, stacked up 3 times. That could be a saving grace too, but I gotta tell you, when trying to out DPS other people using Scythe of the Crow, I just don't know why. There is not enough damage to go around. It's certainly not as much as Pine Comet. Going back to the chat, Mav says, I saw on a post that Lan's umbrella belongs to Facey and was given when she thought Lan was ready. Now that is some actual really cool lore. I would love to know, Mav, where you saw that post. Was it on somebody's Twitter? Was it on somebody's Instagram? I would love to know where you saw that, because I would love to read that information for myself. Let's see. Andrew Holmes, how do you feel about the Nan Yin's trailer or the Ling Han trailer? I've seen both of them, and I've only seen them once, I can't really speculate or give an opinion right now because I don't remember them too well, but I did see them, and from what I can say, I was impressed by what I saw, and I can't wait for those characters to be released. Mike Cavaco's Ling Han already sold me on her, hands down, going for her, yep. All Reds will possibly get A3 day 1. Nice. Joel Cooper, she does need a lot of investment to use, so not the most free-to-play friendly unit, and I imagine you're talking about Facey. Well, we all know, canonically speaking, that fire characters are usually the most free-to-play friendly characters, right? So, speaking about that, I think this is a great segue to look and see what some of Facey's advancements do. Thanks to some guy on Twitter, I was able to snatch these images that we can talk about what Facey does, and we'll see if she definitely needs some work to be strong. Okay, where is my Tower of Fantasy? Okay, here it is. Okay, so this is apparently the page 1 of Facey's weapon. Now, if you didn't know it, Facey's weapon is actually called a pistol. P-I-S-T-I-L, the Endless Bloom. Alright, let me see if I can't pull it up for me somewhere else, because I need to have it very big so I can read it, because I am actually very blind. So let's bring up Tower of Fantasy. Let's do this. Okay. I'm going to bring it up, and I'm just going to read from my... Okay. Okay. So, looking at the first thing that she says, she's got a shatter of 14. Now, off the rip, whenever I see a DPS character with incredible shatter, I am always very happy. And it's because that sort of lets me know that I don't have to run a fortitude character for their shatter. Whenever thinking about making a team or a balanced team or a great team, you always want to have at least one character that has a good shatter, so when you encounter an enemy that has shields, you can break those shields. Because we all know, or if you don't know, you don't want to know, the pain of fighting a character or an enemy in the game, specifically like in the, bygone Phantasm, that has a shield that you have to break. And if you don't have anything to break that shield, you are sitting there pounding on that shield for like an hour before it goes down, and then you got to take her out the house. So it's great that she has a shatter of 14. She's got a 12 charge. That is good. That means she gets her discharge pretty quickly. Maybe not as fast as Pine Comet. Pine Comet gets its charge at 15, and then Lan has a really slow charge at 8. Really slow charge for Lan at 8. So yeah. So let's look at the elemental resonance for her. She says she's got something called Fiery Explosion Swift Cut. When Endless Bloom is equipped, that's the name of the weapon, the pistol, I guess. Upon landing a hit with any weapon's discharge skill, deal initial damage to nearby targets equal to 37.5% of flame attack, plus 0.5% of the Wanderer's max HP, plus 18.75% of the sum of all Wanderer's resistance types, plus 68.75% of crit. Now, this is, of course, talking about having the flame resonance. Two or more fire characters on the same team, you get this resonance bonus. To me, that looks huge. To me, that looks great. Anything that multiplies damage, gives more damage, I think that's great. And this is, A0 we're talking about right here. This is just having elemental resonance. Let's see. While in combat, after every 0.5 seconds, the next swift cut damage will be increased by an additional 1 time up to a maximum of 30 times. When multiple swift cut damages exist, the highest initial value is used for calculation. Fire explosion swift cut damage is counted as discharge skill damage. So now I'm curious as to what this swift cut is. So let me find the Swift Cut, because I want to know what Swift Cut actually does. So which one is this? This is her abilities, and this doesn't talk about Swift Cut. I think Swift Cut is going to be... Where is it? I want to know about Swift Cut. Did he not put her skills in a tab? Okay, so this guy from Twitter, he gave 3 images for her character sheet, but he did not put her skills? Because I'm looking at all of her attacks now. Okay, this is the page for her skills. I'm looking for Swift Cut, and I am not seeing Swift Cut at all. So maybe it just wasn't included in this character sheet, because I stole all 3. I stole all 3 from him. So I'm looking, and I don't see anywhere that says Swift Cut. I'm anxious to see what Swift Cut is. If anybody in the chat right now knows what Swift Cut does, or can direct me on Twitter, I'd really appreciate it. My Twitter is @VSGNSocial. Alright, so whatever Swift Cut is, it's probably going to be very good. Alright, so let's continue reading. Okay, so it goes on to say, if there is one Frost Volt physical weapon of any kind equipped, so we're thinking Zeke, because he's physical. If there is any one Frost Volt physical weapon of any kind equipped, fiery explosion damage is multiplied 1.3 times. In addition, fiery explosion damage is not affected by any damage boost effects except from Titan equipment's rare stats and won't trigger additional effects. Okay, so there's another... Okay, that was just regular flame resonant stuff. Now let's read the 1-star, because it sounds like she's going to be okay with no stars, but this is the 1-star. This is what pretty much everybody has a good chance of getting. Blazing Heart's damage base multiplier is increased to 60% of attack while in the combat state. If the Wanderer inflicts multiple burn effects, Blazing Heart's damage base multiplier is additionally increased to that of the highest multiplier effect. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have no idea what any of that means. I'm going to read it again to see if it sort of sinks in. Blazing Heart's damage base multiplier is increased, so whatever Blazing Heart is, the damage of, I'm guessing Blazing Heart is a skill. I'm just going to go ahead and bring up the images, the other 2 images that I have here, and maybe Blazing Heart is one of them. Okay, so this is the other image, and I'm looking at it, and maybe there might be some differing names, but I'm not really seeing anything that says Blazing Heart on that image. Let's go to the second one, and I think this one just talks about her weapon chips, actually. Okay. No, this is her awakening, actually. Okay. Yeah, those are just her attack abilities, I guess. Alright, well, let's just continue reading this. Alright, so, I mean, her A1, I'm not exactly sure what it does, but it does sound like you get extra damage from it. So, I mean, I don't know if this extra damage is, like, game-breaking damage, but Blazing Heart's damage base multiplier is increased to 60% of attack. 60% is a huge number of fire attacks, so if you have a high fire attack, you might be doing, like, a considerable more amount of damage. While in the combat state, the Wanderer inflicts multiple burn effects, and I'm guessing that's going to mean a burn effect from separate weapons. Blazing Heart's damage base multiplier is additionally increased to that of the highest multiplier effect. So, I guess that sounds really good. The A2, which we all know A2 is like increased current weapons base growth by 16%, so bleh. The A3, which is what is going to sort of divide the community. There's going to be the whales, and there's going to be the dolphins, and then there's the free-to-play people. I think the dolphins, like myself, we get to A3, the whales go beyond. So let's see what the Dolphin Max says. The maximum number of Facey's Fantasia, or I'm guessing somebody said in a previous live stream that this is actually should be translated to illusion, is increased to 2 after whirling lands a hit. Additionally, create 1 Facey's illusion. I'm not exactly sure what they mean, but so I'm guessing she has like some sort of after effect or something that might be talking about one of her weapon skills. So I'm guessing that's just going to increase damage in some form of fashion. The A4, increased current weapons base attack growth by 30%. A5, this is whale territory here. For every one, that means you have to have the character plus 5 more copies of the character. That's whale shit. For every one Facey's illusion or lotus petal in the mirage, Blazing Heart's damage is additionally increased by 12%. Lotus Asper's endurance consumption is reduced by 75%. So she has some ability that uses endurance. Now, the only thing I can think of that would use endurance is something that maybe you have to hold the button down, like with Mimi, because you know with Mimi you hold the button down on her, she sort of spits Thunderburst, and that uses your endurance. So there may be something there, but it looks like that A5 is pretty good. Lowers the consumption of endurance, and damage is increased by 12%. That's Blazing Heart's damage. Is the weapon actually called Blazing Heart? It's called Endless Bloom. So Blazing Heart refers to a skill. And then the A6, Soulwear damages base multiplier is increased by 270% of attack. Shatter is doubled, and there is a 15% chance to inflict a 65% delay for 2 seconds after landing a hit, ineffective against bosses in team play. Ineffective against bosses in team play? Is that overpowered that they had to disable it against bosses in team play? Whenever I see something like that that disables this ability against the boss, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I don't like it, because now you're limiting what the character can do. You gave her these abilities, but you said, well, on a boss, she can't use that ability. I don't agree with that necessarily, but it is what it is. Multiplier is increased. Damage base. Soulwear damages base multipliers are increased by 270% of attack. Shatter is doubled, and there is a 15% chance to inflict a delay for 2 seconds after landing a hit. Now, I wonder if they mean the delay is ineffective against bosses, because if all of 6 is ineffective against bosses, that would suck. So I'm going to choose to believe that they're just talking about the delay. Chat, if you know something about this, let us know down in the comments. All right, so what do you guys think about this? Do you think all of this, because obviously the A6 is overpowered. Clearly, that's broken. The A5 sounds pretty good as well. The A3, I'll just have to see how good the A3 is. Honestly, I can't call it because I don't know what any of these things do. But I assume that the A3 is good. So I'm going to go back to the chat right now. I'm going to look at the chat, what you guys are talking about. Okay. So looking at the top here. Hello, Waddled. Welcome to the stream. As of right now, she seems to be a hit or miss until more data comes out, but seems fair. That guy Mello, what's up, bro? Try joining your crew as a fool. I don't know. Dolphin Max, I like that term, thank you. Andrew Holmes, how do you feel about the length of the banners? 30 days to me is excessive. I think 19 days or 18 days is plenty, and I'm free to play. Well, I think that the longer the banners are out, the more opportunities people have to get the characters. So I think that isn't excessive. I think that's right. What I think about the game that is excessive is the excessive way they refuse to let me get all of the gold banner characters. You know? I think as a community, we need to come together to sort of let them know that these gold banner characters, while largely ineffective in the new meta, are still very important to us, right? So, I don't know, if you have a Twitter, you have an Instagram, you have the ability to comment on their YouTube channels, I think that you have the ability to make YouTube videos, no matter how big or small your YouTube channel is or how low quality. I think it's incumbent upon us to let them know, man, that we want these gold banner characters and you're keeping them locked in a cage. And that's not fair. I want Meryl, I want Cobalt, I want Claudia, and I have not seen them since the game has come out, and I've pulled with every gold nucleus I've had, and I've been playing the game like nonstop, and I still don't have those 3 characters at all. And I have like A8 of 0. I am now A6 on, well, not exactly A6 on Huma, but you understand me. I have a lot of Huma constellations. A5 on, you know, why you know. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's see. Continuing on, Andrew Holmes goes on to say, if I spend any money, I'm a fish, not a dolphin, not a whale, but a fish, right? Mr. Decepticon, a good afternoon, Ventus in chat. Hey, Joel Cooper says, she creates a flame Fantasia, and her damage is based off illusions on the ground. Leowa is able to make illusions. Land's umbrella counts as illusion, and her 2 clones count. Listen, can we get some clapping hand emojis in the chat for Joel Cooper? This guy is super helpful in deciphering some of these. So I just want to say right now, Joel Cooper, thank you so much for adding your knowledge and information to this, because this makes a clearer picture. I didn't know that they were talking about an actual, like, flame Fantasia or an illusion. Her damage is based off illusions on the ground. Leo is able to make illusions. So I assume you're talking about those Firebirds that Leowa makes. And Lan, when she creates the Phoenix, that's also an illusion. So I assume you're talking about that. Is that a yes or no in the chat? So he says, Leowa, calligraphy notes equal illusions as well. Okay. Mike says, Vince, sorry, I can't stay. Gotta go drop my car off. But if you're doing a stream later, I'll be on. All right, well, thanks, man. Xenon, she's out, or can you just look at her weapons? Actually, she's not out, and you can't look at her weapons yet. However, there was a very nice guy on Twitter. His name was at Aphrodite. You can see it right there. Follow him on Twitter, because I don't think I actually follow him. Do I follow him? I think I liked his thing. I don't think I actually followed him. Let me see. Let me try to find him on Twitter. AFRODIY. Okay, so this is him on Twitter. Let me just take a nice quick look at his Twitter to see if there's some safe stuff. It looks like everything on his Twitter right now is pretty safe, so I'm going to go ahead and show you his Twitter account. And I apologize if you don't want me to show your Twitter account, AfroDIY. But I'm going to go ahead and show it, because I appreciate what you do for the community. And I think that you should have more. He's got 6,000 followers. He's only following 10. So, I mean, let's go here. So let me move this to the side. So this is his Twitter right here, and he has a bunch of stuff for Tower of Fantasy, I guess. So this is where I actually got my information from with these 3 individual pictures. So if you want to, you can go to his Twitter and you can copy these pictures as well and read for yourself the information that he has there. So I guess he has a battle pass. So actually, this is actually pretty interesting right here. I was wondering how we were going to be able to get the blaster cannon, the water cannon. So it looks like it's going to be a battle pass sort of thing. It looks like this is going to be a mount that we get as well, and then we're going to have 15 of these red nukes for the new battle pass, I guess. Looks like there's a new character. Okay, that's cool that he's got there. Nan Yin, I guess. Is that Nan Yin? Okay, that's cool. Or is this Nan Yin? Okay, so this is Nan Yin. No. Or is that Ling Han? Alright, so anyways, yeah, just drop him a follow, and it looks like he has a lot of information on Tower of Fantasy, and just keep yourself kind of up to date with stuff, and this is one of the ways that I do that. I actually didn't follow him. I thought I followed him, but I gave him a like. I'm going to go ahead and follow now because his information is invaluable. Valuable. I like that word. Alright, so let's go back to the live stream here. Alright, so let's see what Joel Cooper has to say. She will be out on the 26th, right? That's when the new banner happens. So Tuesday, right? Or is that a Wednesday? Well, let's go to the calendar and see when the 26th is. The 26th is actually a Tuesday. The 26th is a Tuesday. Okay, so Joel says her 5 and 6 are OP. The 3 works well with the 5 and 6. Amar Bajik says probably a skip for most because of the new alt weapon coming soon. She's also a support DPS and not an on-field DPS compared to Leo Wo. Okay. What's up, Unos Bentos? Xenon says, yeah, I got a few max, but still don't have Nemesis or Frigg. He's talking about the gold banner characters as well. Andrew Holmes, my friend got Cobalt the other day, and he has Meryl, one of his first characters. That's super lucky. Quoted, I really want to pull for Sinbon Zakura, but it wouldn't be worth it for me as free-to-play. All right, so Joel Cooper, again with this information, he says, Lance Umbrella counts as an illusion. Calligraphy notes, when you attack on the ground with Liawa, you will see the Chinese letters on the ground, and those counts as illusion. And FEI creates 2 illusions at A3. So, reading that, what you just said, simplifying that information, I think the A3 is going to be it for me. That's where I'm going to want to be. I probably won't be able to necessarily wail on the character and get her to A6. If I should happen to be able to get her an A6, I think that'll be huge. But I think A6 will be a great safe play, or A3 will be a great safe place for Facey, because it looks like those illusions are going to make her, deal more damage. Imagine they add characters that get extra buffs when paired to other characters to support each other and make older characters more relevant. I think that would be actually a really good idea. I think that they do need to do something to make these older characters more relevant, because I know I'm not specifically talking about older characters in this live stream. I want to talk more about Facey, but I just want to throw this out there. I like the older weapons. The older weapons seem more traditional to me. You got swords. I love swords. They started adding these other weapons that are not as traditional. I get it. They don't want to keep making swords. They don't want to keep making spears. They don't want to keep making bows. They want to make other types of weapons, right? So I get it, but I still like the traditional types of weapons. I wouldn't mind if they created more unique-looking traditional weapons. Kind of like with Zeke. They gave us a giant sword with Meryl, but when they gave us Zeke, they gave us an even more giant sword, which I thought was cool. What's up, Maxie? Welcome to the stream. Check out her moveset. It's been leaked a while back from the Chinese server. I actually do, Amar, have her moveset that I can look at right now. So I guess this is a perfect segue to look at her moveset. So let's just take a look at her moveset and see what they do. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull up there. You guys can read along with me if you'd like. Let's open up and see what her moveset actually is. Zoom that to 100. Okay, so Her first move set that controls 4 attacks, or 5 attacks. The first attack, deal damage equal to 82% of attack. Second attack, deal damage equal to 122% of attack. Third attack, deal damage equal to 100 wait, no, third attack, 132% of attack. Fourth attack, deal damage equal to 144% of attack. Fifth attack, deal damage equal to 146 of attack. And the sixth attack, deal damage equal to 115% of attack. I gotta tell you, looking at this, I don't know if I've been conditioned to believe the fourth and fifth attacks should do increased damage, but it just seems like this damage is kind of lackluster. I was looking specifically to see something that said 1000% of attack or something like that, so kind of underwhelming right there. But then again, it may not be, you know. Shifting Clouds, this is an aerial attack. You jump in through 5 attacks. And it looks like it's pretty much the same here. 72% for the first attack, 98 for the second, 142 for the third, 142 for the fourth, 173 for the fifth, and the sixth is 144. So it looks like you don't get a whole lot from spamming that attack button with this character, in which you don't really see people spamming that attack button a whole lot anyway. They just do some sort of rotation. So maybe that's what they were looking at right there and said, well, why go to the trouble of doing all this algorithmic work if people aren't going to use these attacks anyway? Golden Autumn, so this is her attack hold. So one of her hold attacks. Okay, while using on the ground, tap and hold the normal attack when using the first to third normal attacks to trigger Golden Autumn. Draw in nearby targets, dealing damage equal to 259% of attack and suspending them. Alright, so the tap hold's pretty good. Okay, then she has something called Resounding Pendants. While using on the ground, tap and hold normal attack when using the 4th to 6th normal attacks to trigger Resounding Pendants. Deal damage equal to 74% of attack and knock targets back. Okay. And then she's got something called Falling Flowers. It's going to be a jump, attack, and hold in the air. During Shifting Clouds, tap and hold normal attacks to trigger Falling Flowers. Descend from above. After landing, deal damage equal to 74% of attack nearby targets and launch them. Alright, so another damage skill she's got, Scatter. It says, using normal attack, and this is going to be a dash in any direction with an attack. Using normal attack during the short perfect dodge window, use directional button before dodging to trigger Flower Scatter, dealing damage equal to 209% of attack to nearby targets. During Mirage Fantasy, created by Whirling, after the first dodge attack, using any weapon lands... wait, hold on. Maybe I'm reading this faded. During Mirage Fantasy, created by Whirling, after the first dodge attack using any weapon lands a hit, that sounds like a translation right there. Trigger Flower Graft, creating a Facey, Fantasia, or Illusion, and Lotus Petals. So it looks like you create illusion in this way. This is how you create an illusion. So the directional dodge attack will create an illusion. Okay, so Facey's Fantasia or Illusion. Upon creation, Facey's Fantasia copies 25% of the target's max attack and can... Wait, what? Upon creation, Facey's Illusion copies 25% of the target's max attack and converts it to the Wanderer's base flame attack, not lower than 3,300 and not exceeding 3,450. This flame attack will not be reflected on the Wanderer's stats and is unavailable in Apex League until Facey's Fantasia disappears. This is calculated independently for each Facey's Fantasia or Illusion. There can only be one Facey Fantasia at a time. Lotus Petal. Upon creation, the Lotus Petal count is equal to the number of summons created by the Wanderer's weapon other than Endless Bloom. After creation, the Lotus Petal count does not change with the number of summons. Lotus Petals are considered as summons. Let's read that again. So this is directly talking about using Liyue and Lan. Because Lan creates parasols, which are illusions. Am I right? Upon creation, Lotus Petal count is equal to the number of summons created by the Wanderer's weapons other than Endless Bloom. Okay, so this tells me right here that this is going to work well with Lan because of those parasols. I'm not exactly sure how Liyue's illusions, how many you can make at one time. Actually, let me do this. I have Leowa equipped right now, and let's see if... So those are like 4 or 5 illusions. Okay, that was like 4 or 5 illusions. There's 2 illusions right there that are just maintaining her skill. Her skill didn't create any illusions. Her jump attack. I mean, maybe I'm using it faded. Maybe Joel in the chat can share some insights on how to definitively create those illusions with Leowa. But I know for a fact that using the parasol, you create those illusions when attacking. So whenever you're attacking and you have... Actually, let me go and fight somebody. And I'll just show you what I mean. We'll go to the Vera plane, and I'll show you those parasols in action. Because when you fight a target, you hit a target, the land parasols will appear. And that's how you enter the... crap. I want to call it the fire domain, but I don't think it's called fire domain. It's called... Brother. Let me just check really quick so I'm not faded. You have to enter the whatever domain. Vermilion domain. I'm sorry. I'm so fond of saying Vermilion domain. But let's go and fight a creature. And we'll see. You know, for my own curiosity, I just want to see how many illusions are created in this way. There is an enemy over here that I like to fight. So, listen, during the course of this chat, if you guys could do me a favor, kind of like keep track of how many illusions that I do create while fighting. Because I think these illusions are going to be a key factor when using Facey and multiplying her damage and getting more damage out. There's an enemy over here that's a little bit big that might not die instantly, although he probably will because my character is sort of overpowered right now because I have on my fire gear. Alright, so I've got Pine coming out, and I'm just going to attack. Okay, we already got 1 parasol, 2 parasols out right now. Where are you at? I want to get the 3rd parasol so I can enter the... Okay, so that's 3 parasols, right? Okay, we got some illusions out. I see... Yeah, I see some calligraphy marks. That's 3 calligraphy marks right there. There's the 3 parasols, so that's 6 illusions that are out right now. And then if I just go ahead and switch to Facey, I go between all of these to create the Vermilion domain, which was a very bad representation of the Vermilion domain, let me tell you. But I think we got more here. Let's do this. And then switch back. And yeah, that Vermilion domain. So I'm seeing... Maybe if you have more... Okay, okay. That's 5. I'm seeing up to 5 calligraphy on the ground now. And listen, do you think these Zeke little things count as summons? They count as summons, right? Joel, do you have any information on that? The Zeke summons, do they count as... Okay, this thing's actually gonna kill me. Okay. Well, I was just trying to see how many summons... I could kill the thing if I really wanted to, but... Let's see what Joel has to say about the subject. Land's umbrellas count as illusions. Calligraphy notes, when you attack on the ground with Leowa, you'll see the Chinese letters on the ground. Those count as illusions, and Facey creates 2 illusions at A3, right? Star Wreck, traditional, all day equals boring. She looks like a simp for character, okay. Andrew Holmes, how do you feel about Icarus or Fiona or even Umi? Are these characters considered irrelevant? I'm new to the game and was wondering what is actually considered meta. Very good question. I'll try to answer as best as possible in all these parts. How do I feel about Icarus? I think Icarus is a subpar character. I got him, and I'm kind of sad that I got him, but at the same time, whenever I do start to put together my ice teams, I think he's going to be a great addition to my ice team because he's got a very unique weapon. He has a yo-yo. Yeah. Fiona is probably the best character in the game thus far. Just hands down. Umi? I'm not sure what an Umi is, so you'll have to put me up on game on that one. I'm new to the game. I was considering what is actually considered meta. Well, right now, I think Fiona is going to be added in any meta. I think when Facey comes out, the meta is probably going to be a Facey Lan or a Facey Lan, Fiona, Facey, Lan, Leoa. Usually just whatever the current new banner weapon is, that's going to be considered like the meta at the time. And unfortunately with this game, the meta does change and power creep is thrown around a lot. But I think that if you are sort of not wailing on the game, sure, you could try to do the meta, but I'll tell you from my own personal experiences, last night I was getting some content so I could upload to my Twitter account, and there were people who were running the same teams that I was running in a lot of the runs, and I was just better. And I was just better because maybe I have better constellations of the said characters. Maybe my armor was just better. So whenever someone wants to, start the game and they're new to it and they want to talk about meta and meta DPSing, the advice that's always common that I give is you can use the meta, but don't expect to beat a whale. Don't expect to out DPS a whale. There's a person in my crew who I use the same setup as him, and because he's got A6 of literally everything, I can't get anywhere near his damage. Now, for the people who do what I do, but they're nowhere near my constellations, they get nowhere near my damage. So, you have to take that into account. Obviously, if you are using a meta team versus a non-meta team, despite not having constellations, you're probably going to do better. A great example of that was I was doing a raid a couple of weeks ago with my friend who's in the chat now, Quoted Lime, and I was using weapons that weren't meta on purpose because I had them at high constellations, and I wanted to see how well they did because they were at high constellations and they weren't exactly meta, and I was getting out DPS'd by a lot because I was using these weapons that are no longer relevant. You know what I mean? So I hope that sort of answers your question. Andrew, okay. Let's see. Starrex says, Andrew Holmes, between the characters you listed, Fiona will be the best choice. Yep. No, Fiona A0 is already good. That's true. A3 has a finisher. Yep. It's a very good finisher. I love A3 Fiona. Andrew Holmes, I think they should have an event or daily we can do that gives 5, maybe 10 red, and maybe 5 to 10 gold nucleus every day, or maybe just 2 to 300 dark crystals. Well, they do have something similar to that. It is called the Clotho supply pod, and I think, like, what is it, once a week, or is it once every 11 days? This Clotho supply pod comes up, and if you pay attention to it, you'll be able to get 10 gold nukes for free. They'll give you 10 gold nukes for free. They don't do that for red, but usually when a new banner comes out, and let's actually just take a look at the banner now. This is a great segue. We'll just take a look at the banner now for Tower of Fantasy, and we'll see the rewards that we're going to get with Facey when she comes out as a part of the monthly whatever. What is this? It is way down there, isn't it? Okay, here we are. I'm going to bring up my display capture again. Okay, so here's the event calendar for the end of the month, which is what we're closing in on right now, and I'll just read everything. So, 9, 5 to 10, we've got the Huang Limited Order Dragonhorn special gift. Huang, we got that already. Arc Tether Limited Order reissue, 9, 5 to 10. We've got that. That's actually going on right now with Rebelia, Fenrir, and Qian Lang. And then 9 to 12. Okay, we already did all this stuff. Okay, so here we go right here. This is where we're at right now. This one right here, it says 926-10. I don't know what the dash 10 means. We've got special gift Facey. It looks like they're going to give us 3 red nukes specifically for the Facey banner. Log in during event to claim Nucleus, Elegance, and Poise X3, which we all know that's essentially tantamount to giving us nothing. Facey limited order, Elegance, and Poise 926. And then we've got Burst Tether limited order reissue. That's Annabelle, that's Lan, and that's Leowa. And then we got the Lan Horticulture reissue, Ivory Bloom. Then we got Melina Polymorph outfit, Silent Serenade. Thorn Rose Gachapon reissue. New limited time raid, Gluttonous Fest. New casual gameplay farming on Artificial Island. So it doesn't look like they're going to do a whole lot in the way of giving us red nukes for Facey, not like they did it with Zeke. If you remember when Zeke came out, they gave us a lot of chances to get Zeke. As a matter of fact, when I logged onto the game that day that Zeke came, I was able to get a copy of Zeke with the 10 free red nukes that they gave us. So for whatever reason, they're not giving away a lot of red nukes for Facey, but they are giving away 3. And there may be some extra rewards that you can get. I know right now, and specifically speaking to the gentleman in the chat, Andrew Holmes, you know, I would say do these events. Go to the store. They do give some red nucleus away for free just by playing the game. Not a whole lot of them. You get maybe 1 or 2. And then, of course, the dark crystals. There's a lot of dark crystals to be farmed on the map. Remember, anywhere in Asperia that you're farming black nucleus, you're going to get a number of dark crystals. I think I was able to farm up 10. No. 19. I was able to farm 19 red nukes. I bought 60 red nukes about a week ago. And then from that time, I was able to farm... Hold on, you're looking at my display capture. I'm sorry about that. All right, so yeah. About a week ago, I bought 60 red nukes. And then after that, I farmed up with dark crystals. I farmed up like 19 more. And I think there's still yet more to farm. For me anyway. You might be a little bit different because you might still have farming to do. You might still be able to go to Asperia and farm more dark nukes or black nucleus. Alright, so skipping forward. Wheeze, I'm an old player that want to play again. Do you have any advice for team comp since I'm not a whale? Well, I would have to ask you, Wheeze, what characters do you have? And if you aren't a whale, I think maybe focus on your own personal enjoyment, man. You know, what weapons do you think look cool and play with those? Because I think if you try to chase meta, you're going to be spending money. What's up, Naimani? No name. I feel it's a scam for Facey. 85% nerf. She's really bad. I was looking forward to pull, but thank God I changed my mind. She's bad if you're not A6 her. Other than that, she won't do what you think she's going to do. Possibly. I think Leowa and Lan needs to come out with Facey. As we just said, she is. Those 2 characters are going to be reissued, Maxi, along with Annabelle. They're going to have their own personal banner, just like with the Arc Tether banner that's going on right now. You're going to get a reissue of Leowa, Lan, and Annabelle. I was told pity is 120 and not 80. What is your experience with pity? You get a pity at 80 pulls. You have a 50% chance at the 80 pity to get the character. So if we look right now at the current red banner, I have no pity because I haven't pulled on anything yet. But if I do 80 pulls, you'll get a 50% chance to get the banner character. And if you don't get the banner character, you'll get the what's called flame gold or black gold. Yeah, flame gold, and you can purchase the weapon if you have 120 of those. So it's a way to get it. Xenon says every time a character comes out, all the old characters of that element will rerun with them. Well, not all of them, but the most relevant ones, I think. Yep, so can't wait for the FEO rerun with the new altered. I think 10 in inners and like 5 to 10 on Veroplane. He's talking about red nukes. Yep, there are a couple of inners. Hello, Ali. Andrew Holmes says, actually, I've been playing for a week and I'm level 64 with Esperia cleared, Miuria halfway, and all the maps filled in. I grind. This isn't my first rodeo when it comes to that. Also, awesome, man. Awesome. Alright, Star Rex says, Facey isn't a main DPS. She is a buffer. Let's wait and see. The other characters did also get big nerfs. Dark Adventure, grinding the map is murder. I mean, it's only murder if you allow it to be murder in your mind. For me, grinding inners is murder because I simply dislike the slower movement in inners. Grinding Domain 9, not so much murder because I do enjoy looking at Domain 9. I enjoy having a reason to play the game and use my characters. Kind of like, and let me know how you feel about this in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this video on demand. How do you feel when you play a game, Genshin Impact, and you want to use your Kazuha, you want to use your Riding Shogun, you want to use these other characters that you got, but use them for what? There's nothing to do in the open world that benefits your time besides you just using characters killing like ads. I think in these games where you have to go and collect the field energies, there are bosses you can destroy that gives you machine parts, things that you can use to enhance some aspect of your character or to get dark crystals. I think that it becomes less of a nightmare because you're actually doing something, you know? So, I don't know. It all depends on your point of view and your outlook on it, I think. But I can definitely see where you're coming from. I think when I first started, it was coincidental. Is that a word? When I first got the game on PC about a year ago, when it first came out on PC, I wanted to get as many characters as possible because I thought they looked cool. I thought the aspect of when you get a different copy of the character or so many copies of the character looks changes. So I would grind all night trying to get Dark Nucleus, trying to get Gold Nucleus so I could get more copies of the character. And was it a nightmare? Yes. But was it fun seeing after I got 10, will I get the character that I want? Oh, I got the character I want. Oh, I didn't really want this character, but I'm so glad I got this character when the 10 pulls actually work. So, I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. No Name says, if you don't animation cancel, you lose 300 million DPS on its own because you're losing stacks and you're losing the ability to use Loom skill because that actually drops before animation. I hope they don't do Ling Hong dirty like that. Well, you can always cancel the animation, which is like I was trying to say earlier when I was first started live stream. I got the opinions of the chat and the comments. How do you feel about the animations? I think the animations are cool. However, it's not lost on me that you lose some DPS if you let the animations play out. Is Annabelle available yet? Not yet, Dogtrack. She will be available on the 26th in the rerun banner along with Leowa and Land. Leowa and Land. Yeah, I was grinding inners last night for Mira, and it sucks. Yeah, I am not going to hold you, bro. I am not going to hold you. I don't like being in inners. I think inners is tantamount to hell, and I don't like being there at all. My inner map progression is very bad right now. I know there are a lot more things for me to collect in inners, but I gotta tell you, I just don't want to. I just don't want to. If I could pay somebody to do it for me, I probably would. That's just one aspect of the game I just don't like. Another aspect of the game that I don't like is the miasmic swamp. It's a good idea in theory, but I think they do too much to clear the miasma. I would love to just be able to go fight something and then clear the miasma, rather than go and try to hunt for something that is like almost invisible. And then you have to sit there in the swamp and then activate this device that you're going to fail at the first like 3 times you try it, and you're going to die anyway. There are just some things that are just a pain in the ass to do. Am I right? Hello, Shadowstorm. Welcome back to the stream. I love banner arts of this game for sure. Yep. Do you think Domain 9 should have research? Absolutely. I think Domain 9 is pure genius, man. I think Domain 9 is great because I love the culture. I love how they're implementing like the ancient Chinese aspect, because this is like a Chinese game. I love how they put that in there, because I don't know much about China and stuff like that. I'm not saying this is a whatever on history, but looking at this stuff, it kind of makes me feel like I'm in like a Chinese anime. That's why I was like, I think that they should do a collaboration with Avatar: The Last Airbender, because I loved Avatar: The Last Airbender for that, because they gave us sort of a look inside of a fictional Chinese world. And more than that, whenever they do decide to get off their asses and do something with feudal Japan, brother, because it's coming, right? If the game continues on the way it is, they're probably working on it now. I don't know what they're working on, but they're probably working on it now. They're probably working on some sort of alternate, dimension or alternate, realm or whatever like that. That is ancient, because you can't have one without the other, can you? I feel like a feudal Japan type sort of map is coming, and I think that would be amazing. So I'm hopeful for that, because when it comes to the different cultures, Chinese and Japanese, I'm more of a fan of the Japanese culture myself. I love samurai, or at least I love the anime derived illusion of what samurai, or what they wanted us to believe samurai were. Ninjas, what they wanted us to believe ninjas were. I love all of that, and what they're probably going to do for that sort of, art, that sort of culture. I think I am super excited for that. Although, in recent times, I realized that my views are kind of, I don't know if bigoted is the wrong word. I don't know. I feel differently now about glorifying feudal Japan, and when people were dying over and over again, bloodshed, for their rights and their abilities to do whatever. I think I watched was it the Tom Cruise movie? I'm not exactly sure if the Tom Cruise movie, was it Samurai or Ronin or whatever. Did you guys see that movie? I'm not sure if it's actually super accurate, but after watching that, after watching the first Kenshin movie, I did some research on Google. And I read about some things and what stuff was real, what stuff was factual, why there was change, some people who wanted change, some people who didn't want change, people were dying for their beliefs, that sort of stuff. I just feel differently about it now, man. I feel bad for, liking that. I don't think you should ever like people killing people. So, I don't know. It brings my entire mental into conflict when it comes to that. So, sorry about that sort of dark take. Map expansions are needed, not Vera so much. I love the map in Vera, aside from Miasmic Swamp, because of the rewards. The Vera rewards on maps is just amazing. You have the ability to get, the dark nukes, for you can do pulls. You can get Mira and Viron, so you can do stuff in the Gachapon. I think this was the best, and I think they need to get back to that. Rewards. Rewarding your players for playing the game. They need to get back to when you open a weapon box, a chest from defeating a boss, you have a chance to get some goodies and not just collection pieces that you can put together to create eventually a Fortress micro-reactor. I want the weapon chips. I want the SSR weapons from the gold banner. Because, I don't know, man. I don't want to turn this into a rant about gold banner again. But if I'm being honest, bro, why are they holding these gold banner characters hostage, son? Like, does anybody, one in the chat if you feel like that. Do you feel like they are holding these gold banner characters hostage? I don't know. It might just be me. I feel like they're holding them hostage. And they're not even that good of characters. They're not. They're irrelevant, except for the support characters. The support characters are pretty relevant. But they're holding our characters hostage, son. And please and thank you, stop holding Meryl hostage. I want her. I need her. And I don't want to spend $200 to get gold nukes just to get her. Or to not get her. Ventus, have you watched Project Mutant new trailer? You got to see it now. Oh, I have seen it. And my thoughts on it, it looks really cool. Although I'm not entirely sold on the Spider-Man movement. I hope that is not the only movement. I realize why they put that type of movement in the trailer or whatever like that, to draw people's attention, to draw people in, because people love that sort of thing. I, on the other hand, do not. I want to see something unique to the game. Me personally. I mean, Spider-Man game is cool and whatnot, but it's not something that I can play all the time. And if that's going to be the movement in Mugen Train, or not Mugen Train, Project Mugen, that's going to be very disappointing. For a game like that, I think the movement needs to be closer related to GTA. I want to be in cars. I want to be on motorbikes. Give me some Kawasaki's. I don't want a web sling. So, chat, before I wrap up this short live stream, I'm just going to do my dailies and talk to you guys a little bit. What are your thoughts going into the Facey banner? Are you super stoked about getting Facey? Is this a character that you're probably going to pass on, or is this a character that you really want to get the A6 on to complete your perfect fire team? How do you feel about her? There's a free-to-play mobile game I played. It had a great free-to-play banner pool. It basically had a wish list for the player to increase the chances of getting that character, and if you did, a number of pulls. I think Genshin Impact has something like that too, right? Although I think it's cap, and I think that they just have that so people feel a sense of something. Because I gotta tell you, I pulled on that dumbass. I pulled on that wish whatever for Genshin Impact, and it didn't help me to get what I wanted. All it took was one time for me to pull like $20-$30 worth of pulls, and I didn't get what I had on my little path or whatever, and I was like, okay, this is lame. I mean, I'm sure your game isn't like that. Shadowstorm says, passing on that banner, you can pick between the character on your wish list. I think that would be I think the way that this system is good, though. You get the character, you have a chance to get the character at 80, and then if you don't get the character at all, you have flame gold that you can just buy the character. I think that's good. A little bummed because I have to pass only to have Leoa for fire and like her, but no resources to build a fire team with, Facey and Lan. Yeah. I'm a Frost main, so I'll probably skip. I saw the nerf, so I don't know. Might snipe an A0 or an A1 to try her out. And Mr. Decepticon says I'm pulling for Lan. You know, and I think that's a really good strategy for this, to rerun those other characters, because there are some people who might not want to pull the Facey. They just might want the other characters. Freddy Craft, hello. Who is Facey? Haven't played in a month. Facey is a new fire DPS character that's coming out in 4 days. She is from what the chat tells me now, a off-screen DPS, a buffer, sort of like Lynn. And she looks similar to Lan. She wears, you know, the same sort of color clothing or whatnot. And I don't know. We looked at a video for her already during the course of this live stream. If you want, you can go back in this live stream and check out the first portion of this video, of this live stream. We took a look and I reacted to the trailer of the character. And actually, you know what? I think right now might be a great segue to looking at Gateo's video of the new character Facey. And I'll try to make it as transformative as possible so as not to infringe upon our good friend Gateo. So let's pull that up. To many, Gateo is just a great source of information for new characters, and here I think he has some Facey gameplay right here. So let's check it out. Now I'm gonna be pausing this video a lot so as to make it very transformative or whatnot. Let me do this and play the ad. Okay. Alright, so for the... Oh, wait, hold on. I want to do it like this. Let's go to the webcam. Alright, so for the gentleman in the chat who was asking what this new character is, this is the character right here. Again, you can go to Gateo's website, or Gateo's YouTube channel, and he has more information on it. I mean, I'm not on the Chinese server or anything like that. I haven't been invited to a test server or anything of that nature for the game, so I'm not privy to you know, certain informations that other people are. I only have the game on PlayStation. I do have a PC account that I just don't like to use. So this is Gateo's YouTube channel, and he usually has a lot of information, or at least gameplay, of all the upcoming characters. So shout out to him, and definitely check his channel out. Sub to his channel if you haven't already, and turn those notifications on, because he is up on knowledge, like, even before I get it. Alright, so let's just take a look. This is the character Facey. Looks like this may be her idle animation, and he's looking at the stuff. See, yeah, he's looking at stuff in Chinese test server, I guess. She's very floaty. She swims through the air. This is actually pretty cool. I think this is like the first... Yeah, I think this is the first, like, character selection animation that is super extra. I know Zeke, he has some super extra, like, animation as well. If you let it play long enough, he sits at a desk and he stands up. So this is pretty cool. I mean, this is the character. She looks pretty dope. Looks like a lot of thought went into her. I mean, looking at her outfit, it looks like they really, really put a lot of thought into this character. She's got big boobs. Sort of reminds you of Fiona. Alright, so this is her idle... God damn. This is her idle animation. And of course, idle animation is just the character just standing still, doing nothing. If you let your character just stand still for, you know, a little bit of a time, they'll start to do things. I always like the idle animation of Sonic in those old Sonic games. If you leave Sonic standing still for too long, he'll look at the screen, he'll start tapping his foot, he'll look at you, he'll look back, you know, look at his hand, he'll be like, well, what are you doing, bro? Can we move? So I think idle animations are cool. So this is a pretty cool idle animation for the character. You get a good look at the character. Now, of course, we're in Joltville right now. I'm looking at the background and the scenery. She's a dancer, so she's doing a little bit of dancing. Her melons are melaning. I guess this is her base skin character model that we're looking at here. She's wearing high heels. I was never one to understand. This is her weapon. This is her weapon, the pistol. She fights with the flower. When I first saw the flower, I was kind of reminded of Zero's negating cube. Because Zero, he has like the cube that he holds in his hand, and he throws it around and he fights with it, although you don't do any DPS with it, which was very frustrating to me because I thought the negating cube was a really cool weapon. I was really hoping that it would do a lot of damage, but it did not. I hope that they create, like, at some point in time, a alternate version of the negating cube that does more damage, but until then, this seems like the negating cube to me. Okay, so let's look at some of her attack animations. So this is her basic attack. Now, as we read earlier, her basic attack, there's no huge multipliers. There's no huge, percentages of attack. There wasn't anything that read like 1,000% of attack or 1,200% attack. It was all just like 100, 200, 300. I don't think anything went over 300% of attack. I'm not sure. I might be faded. So this is her. She's creating illusions. One of these attacks, she creates illusions, her Fantasia. So let's see. Okay, so this is her aerial attack. Yep. I think that might count as an illusion, that little flower she creates in the ground. Now, listen, am I faded? Am I faded, chat? Or does it look like this character is similar to or is meant to work with Lynn? Could that be another possibility of a team? If there's somebody in the chat right now, the Joel, the whatever, just give me your opinions right now. Do you think, because I'm looking at the flowers, right? And I'm thinking that maybe the same person who created Lynn is the same person who created Facey, and this person is just infatuated with flowers. So being that Facey is reportedly by the chat an off-screen DPS, Lynn also off-screen DPS, are these two characters meant to work together to boost the damage of Lan or Leowa? What do you think? Okay, that's her plunge attack. Okay. Very cool. Very cool animation there. Oh, wow. So that is her hold attack. So she sort of moves. I think this is the knockback, right? She gives knockback, and this is what we read. Okay, this is the dodge attack, and she's supposed to be able to create illusions with this dodge attack. Now, it's looking like those illusions don't... Okay, this is the one that creates illusions, the directional dodge attack. We read this. And I'm not really seeing... I guess she has to attack something for those illusions to sort of appear. Okay, so here's the discharge animation, I guess. Nice. Cool. Now, like we've seen in the chat, somebody says you lose DPS when you do that sort of discharge animation. So this is her alternate skin. Looks pretty cool. I like it. I want to see her attack something. Okay, so this is her attacking stuff. Oh, hold on. We have what looks to be an ad. So give me a second while I get to skip this ad. Okay, this is what I was looking for right here. I want to see her bring up animations. Or illusions, rather. No, this is male character animations. That looks so fruity, bro. Not gonna hold you. Okay, here it is. Open world combat. Okay. This is where we see the illusions pop up. Wow, so this is her Fantasia. You see how it's kind of pink in the background? So it's not actually referring to an actual copy of her. It is like an actual, like, matrix, sort of. This is her shatter working. She just shattered those shields pretty good. Looks like Giteo may have Mimi in the team. Okay, I saw those flowers on the ground. Okay, so these are the illusions. All right, there's illusions right there that are created. It looks like those illusions don't move, though. Are they just stuck in place? They just stand there? So essentially, these illusions are like, oh my god, oh my gosh. Oh my god, look at the tick damage. Look at the tick damage. That is insane. So the DOT is pretty good. Fantastic. Fantastic. I'm sold. I'm sold. Alright, so, listen, so as not to, infringe on the brother's YouTube video, you guys can check it out for yourself. But, listen, from what I just saw, it looks really good. It looks really good. What do you guys think? Andrew Holmes says, the alt skin definitely looks better. Mock Mancini. I think they're going to give a free Lin when the new altered DPS drops, though. You think they're going to give something away for free? Wow. Freddy Kraft says, just a guess, but you have both Lin and the other girl off field and go in with your DPS, but if her multipliers are not that good, then I'd say no. I tend to agree with you, Freddy. And Bella is the free banner. Hockey Boy, I don't know what you're trying to say. Less than a month and everything else is a distraction. Oh, you're talking to Andrew Holmes. The crit's gonna be nuts. Yep. She's minimum A3 in that gameplay, Anonymous. Okay, cool. Minimum A3 in that gameplay. So if you're not A3, you're not doing that type of damage. Now, do you think that's in... Because they were in Joltville. Giteo was in Joltville, so he wasn't in Ignisville. You know, in Ignisville, your fire damage is going to be increased, and of course, your fire damage is going to be modified if you have fire armor on. So, I mean, there are a couple of different factors to look at there, depending on your weapon chips and whatnot. Ventus, how do I unlock long hair for Wanderer? I don't know. I actually have no idea. I would assume it would have something to do with using one of these beauty tokens right here. Beauty voucher, I guess. I can go to my Wanderer, or no, I go to my Simulacra, and I deactivate the Simulacra to use my character, and then let's see, let's go back to the Wanderer, and outfits, I guess. Let's see the hair. I mean, I use a male character, so I don't know if there are any long hairs to unlock, because all the male's hairs are pretty short. But some of the stuff you may just have to purchase. Or you may have to get during like events or whatnot. But again, I don't use a female avatar, so I would not know how to get those female avatar hairs. Sir, may I ask something again? Is it worth it to spend $150 in this game right now? There are two ways $150 could be beneficial to you right now, but I think you're going to have to really pick and choose what you do. Right now, if I were to be given $150, I would spend that on the new character that's coming out. I would spend it all on Facey to make Facey as strong as possible, which is why all the monies that I've gotten managed to kind of scrounge together. I was able to buy 60 red nukes to pull for Facey. However, if I don't already have Mimi, I gotta tell you, everything that I've seen from Mimi, I think you're missing out if you don't get her. I honestly, sincerely think if you don't have her at least to A3, you might be missing out. And if money is like an issue, if this is the only 150 that you're going to have for a while, I don't know, maybe wait and see how Facey actually plays out, if she really is a character that needs to be invested upon, if the other fire characters on your team need to be invested on. It may be just a huge investment, but I can tell you for a certainty, A0 Mimi is good. A1 Mimi is pretty freaking good. A3 Mimi is broken. A6 Mimi, A5 Mimi is just on another level. And from everything that I've seen about Facey, I guess the real question comes, which is a better character for you to get? I don't have any constellations of, the Rebelia. I don't have any constellations or advancements of, Qian Lang or whatever like that, and I'm still doing pretty good damage with my Mimi Volt team. You can see the videos that I've made for the Volt teams. I mean, I'm not whale status, I'm dolphin status, and I still out DPS pretty much everybody I come across, unless it's like a specific person who is devoted. You know what I mean? I very rarely now lose in DPS, whereas before I was losing DPS left and right. So I guess that just becomes the question: $150 right now to max out her, or wait and save and get Facey. If I don't have Mimi, as much as I want to promote the new character, I think Mimi is the way to go. Chat, I don't know. I might be faded. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Is that a faded way of thinking? If you don't, you have one. Chat, here's the question. You've got $150 right now. You don't have Mimi, you don't have Facey. You have the choice to get either. You can't get one and the other. You can only get one or the other. The 150 goes towards one, and that's it. Who are you spending your 150 on? Like I said, as much as I want to promote the Facey character, I know what Mimi does. And Mimi makes me feel powerful. So I go Mimi. But again, Facey isn't really here. It's not in our hands, so we can't really say what the character can do, because I have a belief that when Facey is paired with Lan, paired with Liyue, it may be just as devastating. Chat saying, you're right, bro. Mimi is the move. Anonymous, Mimi definitely. Stellar Strider, Mimi for sure. Andrew Holmes, I thought she was next up. Other banners, of course. Andrew Holmes, okay. Brian Jason, Mimi is meta. Mock Mancini says, I would build a fire team. Liyue, Lan, Facey. Okay. Anyone play on C servers? I don't play on C servers. Freddy Craft, every new character is good, so just wait till there's a character you want that's new. That's what I would do. That's also very sound advice. Extremely sound advice. Facey needs Liyue as main DPS. Yep. From everything that I've read so far. And I'm going to say also, too, man, Lan. But it looks like to me, and I might be faded about this too, but as I was playing with Lan and playing with Liyue, trying to see which, had the more illusions to pop up, it looked like Liyue had more illusions than Lan. It's just that Lan has the Vermilion Domain and makes her illusions work for her. I go Facey because the next new region is Ice, so Flame Team probably valuable. Yeah, a lot of characters in the Frost Domain are probably going to be weak to fire. Is it worth to play A6 Saki and C6 Frigg right now, sir? I have a person that I play with almost every time I stream, specifically named Diva. And that is presumably what they do. And it's the best goddamn tank I've ever seen. And I'm not even exaggerating. Whenever that person using his Frigg and his Saki and his Yulan, I think he has, and on the team, I have a sense of security that everything is going to be okay. So to answer your question, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say absolutely yes. Probably, I can't tell you what the DPS is on that, because I know that Saki has a DPS form, and Frigg is absolutely necessary for the game right now to pull out more DPS when you have Frigg at those higher constellations. I could get my Frigg at C1 or A1 right now, but I'm still waiting, holding out hope that the game will some point in time give me Meryl or Claudia. They don't want to give me Meryl or Claudia. Extremely frustrating. Just not gonna happen. Just not gonna happen for me. Very frustrating. Okay, so Reina Pelona says, I'm going Fire Team playing Land Fiona Ruby, but I want to replace Ruby. I was hoping Facey, but it's not looking too strong DPS. What you think? Well, I think just like what other people said, she's an off-screen DPS. And we just have to see what the off-screen DPS looks like, what it's going to do. Because when you put those illusions out there, you put more illusions out there, it just looks like the DPS is going to be double. I don't think that she's probably going to be main DPS. I think, like somebody else was saying in the chat, that Leowa is going to be main DPS. So if you've got Leowa, that's going to be your best bet. Hello, Haruki. Been busy. Uni. So tiring. Did you see the new alter character, Nanying? I did. I've got everyone standard but Nemesis. I just got my A3 Nemesis. First time ever getting A3 Nemesis on 2 accounts. Facey is much better than Ruby. I should think so, Stellar Strider. I should think so. I have Ruby, and I gotta tell you, I wasn't too impressed with Ruby. So I guess right now we'll just open up the floor to any questions that you guys may have about the game, anything big or small, something that you're sort of curious about. I'm going to end the stream here shortly, probably after I finish doing these dailies and whatnots. Because recently, a friend of mine yesterday, I was streaming yesterday on Twitch, twitch.tv/VSGN social, or what is my Twitch? Aha, here's my Twitch. I was on Twitch yesterday streaming Tower of Fantasy, and one of my friends came in, and they, I offered them, or asked them, requested that they play a game with me called StarCraft, and Tower of Fantasy quickly turned into hours of StarCraft. So twitch.tv, Ventus, SGN TV, if you want to follow me on Twitch. I was actually just doing an experiment yesterday on Twitch to see what the discoverability was like, because I've been doing a lot of complaining about discoverability on the Twitch platform. And I gotta tell you, man. I gotta tell you, bro. I was streaming Tower of Fantasy for like 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that, just nonstop TOF. And I kept the same 10 viewers for 2-3 hours. No new viewers at all. So the discoverability on Twitch is just awful. People have been coming through this stream who are not necessarily subscribed to me, subscribing and typing in the chat. The discoverability on YouTube is way better than on Twitch, I think. But I will be continuing to try to stream on Twitch. Whenever I don't make a YouTube video for the day, or have something I want to say on YouTube for my people, I originally just wanted to make a video. Listen, man. I ain't a hater. I ain't a hater by a long shot. If they want to get over there and get their groove on, they want to dance, let them dance, I say. Have fun doing your thing. Didn't even know you had a Twitch account, just followed. Yeah, I don't like to use it because the discoverability on Twitch is awful. Just awful. But thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. The Apex Legends stream yesterday started slow, but the ball was rolling later on. Good last. No, the entire stream was awful, if we're being honest. Nobody came through. Nobody watched. There was only like 10 or 12 people in there the entire time. However, the 10 or 12 people that stayed, I do believe they got some quality entertainment. It was enjoyable. But, you know, nobody wants to watch me for Apex Legends. So I wasn't too pissed about it. Somebody asked about Artificial Island. Where are you? Oh, Michael Ronald Wolf. Ventus, what would be your recommendation I should do first in Artificial Island? I actually made a video on Artificial Island, and I will direct you to that video now. And that gives you all the information that you need on Artificial Island. And actually, that's a super helpful video. It's helped a lot of people. As far as what to do in Artificial Island. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that on the screen right now. So the video is titled Artificial Island Beginner's Guide. Tower of Fantasy PS5 Gameplay TOF. Got 9,000 viewers 4 weeks ago. So this is Artificial Island PlayStation Beginner's Guide. Check this video out, and that's everything that you need to do in Artificial Island. And I break it down step by step. It's a 24-minute video. So everything in there. And then also, we've got these two videos as well, 2 free red nukes. So that's going to be something that you're going to want to do as soon as you get to Artificial Island, as well as developers logs as soon as you get to Artificial Island in the game, and not like the your home island, your home Artificial Island. You're going to want to get these developers logs, and a lot of videos will be very annoying as far as how to get these developers logs. And in this video, it's no commentary. I show you the log, I show you the location on the map, and that's all you need. I do it as quickly as possible with no fluff, and also all of that information is also included in this Artificial Island video. So this video is more likely just telling you everything that you should be doing as soon as you get to Artificial Island, all the steps you need to take. And then these two videos are just straight to the point information videos about 2 of the most important things that you should be doing in Artificial Island. So definitely check out those 3 videos. I would just say, if you want the whole information, just watch this video in its entirety, and as you're watching the video, sort of go along and do those things. Alright? Hello Void, welcome to the stream. Sir, who do you think the highest DPS characters for each element? Well, as I don't have every single character, I usually like to refrain from answering those questions. So I'm pretty sure somebody else in the chat would probably have a more informed answer. However, what I can tell you, for me, Mimi does a lot of damage. Leowa does a lot of damage. And Yulan does a lot of damage. So, of course, Yulan being Ice, Mimi being Volt, and Leowa being Fire. When it comes to Alter, I don't think you can do better than Fiona. When it comes to Grievous damage, I'm torn between 2. I like Lyra. Lyra's not actually a DPS character, but I do love Lyra because it's just giant arms. But if I'm being realistic, Zeke will probably be your best bet for... But then again, I don't have Ganono, and Ganono is also a Grievous damage character, so I can't tell you, like, one is better than the other, because I just don't have all of the characters. Did I finish with all of my... Yes, I did. Okay, thank you so much for your answer, sir. Have a nice day. Well, thank you, and you have a nice day. Do you use Discord for gamers? No. My Discord is like a personal thing that I talk to some friends with. I did have a Discord server when my channel was actually extremely popular for other games, and it quickly became toxic because there are too many like children that have too much time on their hands that infiltrated my Discord and made it like a very bad place to be. So I don't want to be there. When do they release, Comac? They're going to be released on the 26th. On the 26th of this month, so in 4 more days. There's going to be a downtime, probably around like 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And then, so when you wake up, the character will be there. The new banner will be there. The new banners will be there for you to get. You're going to get a number of dark crystals. They're going to give you 300, so that's going to be 2 free red pulls. If you want to spend your 300 dark crystals that way, they're probably going to have an extended downtime, which is what they usually always do. So with that extended downtime, they're probably going to give you an extra 100 dark crystals. So it might be some extra, an extra red pull there if you have enough. Your Discord is still up. You're still in there. Fantastic. That is fantastic. I may come back one day. People are just really mean and not interested in being kind at all. So it's crazy to me how people can be in a Discord that's made for somebody, that's their specific Discord, and have this intense amount of hate for them. Do I have the Mobius, the whip? I do not think so. What sort of vehicle is it? I don't see a Mobius listed down there in the vehicles. So I would have to answer no. Oh, you're talking about whip, not a car. You're talking about the weapon. No, I don't. I don't have all the weapons. So unfortunately, that's one of the weapons that I do not have. I'm not a whale for the game. I'm a small dolphin, and I can get what I can get. Maybe one day, if there's somebody out there who is a generous benefactor, like I've had in times past, who will donate to the cause until my YouTube channel like turns up again, which this game is losing. It's losing players, losing viewership. So the game loses player, it loses viewership. That means my channel suffers. So I can only do what I can do, you know. And that's not me throwing a pity party. That's just me explaining the reality of my situation and why I don't have every single character. Gacha games are usually made for people that have really big channels like Tectone, who can afford to spend their YouTube earnings on gacha games that essentially are throwing away money. Yes, you can save your 50-50. Bro, I've opened like 4 of these perfect purple boxes, and I ain't seen a single SSR character. A single SSR. Alright, I think that's... it. I don't think there's anything else for me to do. I've done all of my dailies. Could do a Frontier Clash and a Void Rift, but I'll save those for later. Alright, well, guys, listen, it's been great. I want to say thank you for watching this live stream. If you would be so kind as to Suggest this live stream video to other people so they can watch and they can be informed. If you're watching this as a video on demand and you're still watching it right now, I want to say thank you so much, and I would appreciate it if you just came back to my channel and checked out some of the other videos that I've made for those of you who have just extensive knowledge on the game, and just give your advice and opinions on some of the stuff that I make videos on to help more people and just try to help this channel to grow. I would really appreciate it by just suggesting the channel and videos to your friends. All right, so I am going to dipski now and play StarCraft because that's what I want to do. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you on the next episode. Peace out. Sorry, sir. Last question. Did Nemesis still on the meta right now? Nemesis is still a really good character, yes. Am I going to go live on Twitch? No. I'm done being live for today. This was it. Alright, is there anything else?
Got a response?
I don't know if anybody posts anything, Void. To my understanding or knowledge, nobody cares enough to post anything about me, you know? I rarely get anybody on Twitter that reposts anything that I do, so, you know. I imagine one day when I become I Show Speed famous, which will probably never happen, people will start to take me a little bit more seriously or something, but until then, it's whatever, I don't care. Alright, see ya.